Executive functions is an umbrella term for understanding the different types of control mechanisms that the brain has and how it can regulate other processes in the brain and thereby also our behavior. By behavior, I don't only mean how we move and how we interact and use our bodies. I actually mean also how we think and how we solve problems and how we try to see novel things in what we do. In executive functions, we often measure how people can adapt to novel situations that are changing all the time. And this is a big difference compared to, for instance, IQ, when you measure how someone is solving a problem in the same way all the time, but not how that person is actually adapting and changing strategies. Executive functions actually consist of many different subcomponents that we can measure. So, I mean, now I discussed cognitive flexibility, but we also have behavioral inhibition, we have working memory, we have different types of solving problems where you actually have to dynamically adapt. So there are different types of cognitive processes that we could measure and that we can also tailor for a specific person. The main benefits in measuring these functions is that we can actually inform both people, but also organizations, companies, who or which individual is good at a specific job that he or she needs to do. So we can basically use these capacities to build a team in the best possible way. So for instance, we can see that a person who has certain strong cognitive capacities and other weak ones, then we can put this person in to work with another individual who is kind of mirrored in his or her capacities. And in that way, we can be sure that they together actually they cover all the possible cognitive aspects that are needed for a specific job. I think this can come handy in organizations that need very specific cognitive profiles where there's a lot of information to process and where you have to be flexible in how you work and how you think. These assessments can be also important in companies where there's a lot of creativity that needs to be kind of incorporated in what they do to find novel strategies and ideas to go forward. And also in general for any type of individual that is needed with some type of leadership position can benefit from kind of knowing this person's or finding a person who has a specific cognitive profile. All right, so already today we have exciting possibilities to measure different aspects of executive functions, but in the future I think we will see a development to measure much more social cognition, what capacity people have to interact with each other, to understand each other, and thereby also to cooperate. That's one important aspect. Another aspect is that we will also try to apply quite a lot of AI, so artificial intelligence, to our data that we are sampling on big data scales and in big data bases. And thereby we hopefully can be able to predict much better how an individual will do in a certain situation. And one more thing that I think is interesting is that we also try to focus more on verbal thinking. Thoughts are actually used in the individual to solve problems. And we believe that this is a key function for complex problem solving in a complex environment. And few other companies are focusing on that right now. So I think there we are pioneers.